Baruch Shabbat Yama, brothers and sisters, Hebrews in Jamaica, the Caribbeans, the West, to the four corners of the earth, scattered greetings. This Shabbat lesson, we're going to title it, What is the number of the earth, brothers and sisters? What is the number of the earth? Right? How old is the earth, brothers and sisters? Question of the age of the earth has produced heated discussions on internet debate and boards, TV, radios, in classrooms, and in many bodies. Right? Colleges and seminaries. The primary sides are young earth proponents, biblical age of the earth and universe of about 6,000 years. Old earth prominent secular age of the earth of about 4.5 billion years. That's ludicrous. And the universe about 14 billion years ago. That's all of this were preposterous, brothers and sisters. Right? You would think if the earth is that old, we would be more advanced by now, right? There wouldn't be no such thing as hunger, starvation, wars. Right? You would think the attitude of the people would change by now, right? Right, brothers and sisters? The difference is immense. Let's give a little history of where these two basic calculations came from and which worldview is more reasonable when answering the question, how old is the earth? You see, brothers and sisters. Right? Where did a young earth worldview come from? Where did a young earth worldview come from, brothers and sisters? Simply put, it came from the Bible. Of course, the Bible does not say explicitly anywhere the earth is 6,000 years old. Good thing it doesn't, otherwise it will be out of date the following year. But we would not expect all knowing Eliyahu to make that kind of mistake, right? Eliyahu gave us something better in essence. He gave us a birth certificate. For example, using a personal birth certificate, a person can calculate how old he is at any point. It is similar with the earth. Bereshit 1 says that the earth was created on the first day of creation. Bereshit 1 and 1 to 5. From there we can begin to calculate the age of the earth, brothers and sisters. That's why I said, anything to do with life and anything to do with earth, you go to the scriptures. The Negro history book. That is our history, that's our identity, that's our knowledge, that's our language, that's our culture. It's all in that book, brothers and sisters. You see, once again, I have to reiterate. This Kadesh Holy Book is not a Christian book. It's not a Muslim book. It's not a Hindu book. It's none of those labels you put on it. Only is a Hebrew Yahshua book that speaks of our history and what's going to happen to the future of the world and the wicked of the world and those that oppress and attack our people, so-called black people, whether we are scattered. You understand? All those things is coming to pass right now and it's being fulfilled as we speak. You see, brothers and sisters. So let's do a rough calculation to show how this works. The age of the earth can be estimated by taking the first 5 days of creation from earth's creation to Adam. Then following the genealogies from Adam to Abraham, right? Abraham, in Bereshit 5:11, then adding in the time from Abraham, right, to today. Adam was created on day 6, so there we have 5 days before him. If we add up the days from Adam to Abraham, we get about 2,000 years using the Masoretic Hebrew text of Bereshit, Genesis 5 and 11. Whether the body or secular, most scholars would agree that Abraham lived about 2,000 years or 2,000 BC, 4,000 years ago. So a simple calculation is this, bro. So take a look at the screen, right? Okay, brothers and sisters, you take a look at the screen, right? You will see a simple calculation of 5 days, right? As you can see, brothers and sisters, you see 5 days, 2,000 years, right? 4,000 years equals 6,000 years, brothers and sisters, right? Simple calculation, right? At this point, the first 5 days are negligible. Quite a few people have done this calculation using the Masoretic text, which is what most English translations are based on, and with careful attention to the biblical details, they have arrived at the same time frame of about 6,000 years or about 4,000 BC. Two of the most popular and perhaps best are recent work by Dr. Floyd Jones and a much earlier book of Archbishop James Ussher, 1581 to 1656. Right, take a look at the screen. You will see a table of that. All right, table one of Jones and Ussher. Right. So, brothers and sisters, in table one by Jones and Ussher, right, you see the name Archbishop James Ussher, 4004 BC, and his reference and date, the Annals of the World, AD 1658, and Dr. Floyd Nolan Jones, 4004 BC, and the reference and date is Chronology of the Old Testament, AD 1993, brothers and sisters, right? The misconception exists that Ussher and Jones were the only ones to arrive at the date of 4000 BC. However, this is not the case of all. Jones lists several chronologists who have undertaken the task of calculating the age of the earth based on the Bible, and their calculation range from 5501 to 3836 BC. A few are listed in table 2, brothers and sisters. Take a look at the screen. Right, brothers and sisters, so in table 2, this is chronologist calculation according to Dr. Jones. Right, in this table on your screen, brothers and sisters, chronologist Julius Africanus. I know many of you know about this Africanus dude, right? Who said that his name was synonymous with the name of Africa, which is, debatable. You can research that on your own. You see, so chronologist Julius Africanus, right? See, when calculated, circa 240. Date BC 5501. You have George Synellus, circa 810. Date BC 5492. Right? They got John Jackson, 1752, and his date BC is 5426. Dr. Williams, no, John Jackson, right? With John Jackson, now Dr. Williams Hales, circa 1830, and his date is 5411. Eusebius, circa 330, 5199, right? Marianus Scotus, circa 1070, 4192, and L. Condomanus, right? His date is not applicable, 4141, right? And Thomas Lydiat, circa 1600, 4103, and the list goes on, brothers and sisters. You see? This goes on and on, brothers and sisters, right? Michael Menestius or Maestilus, right? 1600, 4079. So as the list goes on from the year, you see it's drop and drop and drop, right? Or you could start from bottom to top as the years goes up, as it goes up, 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 up. You see, brothers and sisters? If you want to start from the bottom to the top or top from the bottom, you can see the different range of the years. And you see the chronologist and when the date and calculation occurs. Right? Alright, so let's move on. Right, brothers and sisters? Okay, let's move on. As you will likely note from the table too, the dates are not all 4004 BC. There are several reasons chronologies have different dates, but two primary reasons. So, maybe go into the explanation of the tables and the reason behind the tables. You see, brothers and sisters, some use the Septuagint or another early translation instead of the Hebrew Masoretic text. The Septuagint is a Greek translation of the Hebrew Old Testament done about 250 BC by about 70 Jewish scholars. Hence, it is often cited as the LXX, which is Roman numeral for 70. It is good in most places, but appears to have a number of inaccuracies. For example, one relates to the Genesis chronologies, where the 70 indicates that Methuselah would have lived past the flood without being on the ark. Several points in the biblical timeline are not straightforward to calculate. They require very careful study of more than one passages. These include exactly how much time the Israelites were in Mizraim, Egypt, and what Terah's age was when Abraham was born. Right? See Jones Usher's book for a detailed discussion of these difficulties. You see, brothers and sisters. Also, for good reference, to added reference, you could check my playlist, my video I did 400 years. I touch on that too, so you could check it out whenever you get a chance, brothers and sisters. Right? So, let's go this again. Several points in the biblical timeline are not straightforward to calculate. They require very careful study of more than one passages. These include exactly how much time the Israelites were in Egypt and Terah's age was when Abraham was born. Right, you can see again Jones and Usher's book for a detailed discussion of these difficulties. Also, additional information and discussion too. You could check out my video 400 years. Right. The first four in table 2 bolded are calculated from a Septuagint, which gives ages for the patriarchs firstborn much higher than the Masoretic text or the Samarian Pentateuch, a version of the Old Testament from the Jews in Samaria just before Mashiach. Because of this, the Septuagint adds in extra time, though the Samarian and Masoretic texts are much closer. They still have a few differences. See table 3. So, using data from table 2, excluding the Septuagint calculation and including Jones and Usher, the average date of the creation of the earth is 4045 BC. This still yields an average of about 6,000 years for the age of the earth. So let's look at table 3. Take a look at the screen, brothers and sisters. Well, once again, take a look at the screen. You can see on table 3 the Septuagint, Masoretic, and Samarian earlier patriarchal ages of the birth of the fallen son. The name, Adam, 130. Samarian 130. Septuagint 230. Seth 105. Samarian Pentateuch 105, and the Septuagint calculation is 205. Enos 90, Septuagint 190. Canaan 70, 170. Mahalalel, right? Mahalalel 65, 165. Yared 162, 162. Enoch 65, 165. Methuselah 187, 167. Lamech 182, 188. And Noah 500, 500. You see, brothers and sisters. So the extra biblical calculations for the age of the earth. So we just went over, right, the table and the additional calculations concerning this that gives a bit of confusion, but hopefully with this lesson it can clarify the issue, right? So extra biblical calculations for the age of the earth. Cultures throughout the world have kept track of history as well. From the biblical perspective, we would expect the dates given for creation on the earth to align more closer to the biblical date than billions of years. You see, 'cause a lot of people like to throw out those billions years and, 20,000 years or 5 million years or whatever million years they talk about, but no one seems to come to the true source. Why won't you come to the one who can tell you these things, who actually create the heavens and the earth? Just like if you want to know something about a car, you go to the manufacturer. Oh, I tell you. If you want to know something about a car, you want to go to the driver. you go to the manufacturer. The manufacturer love me. How you make the car, man? I mean, how old the car is, man? These fundamental things, brother and sister, common sense. But you see, people, mankind, the wickedness of man, they think they know more than the Most High. They have more love than the Most High. They think they have more money than God, as if God need money. I keep asking the question. You gotta be careful of these people talk about God. You gotta ask them what God they praise to nowadays. Everybody love to throw on this title, God, God, God. I believe in God. What God they talking about? The God of the Israelites or the God of this world? I mean, what God? So these are the things you need to dig into and look through, brother and sister, and weigh the matter. You see. This is expected since everyone was descended from Noah and scattered from the Tower of Babel. Another expectation is that there should be some discrepancies about the age of the earth among people as they scatter throughout the world, taking their uninspired records or oral history to different parts of the earth. Under the entry Creation Young Analytical Concordance of the Bible lists William Haley's accumulation of dates of creation from many cultures, and in most cases Haley's says which authority gave the date. We're going to look at that in table 4 briefly. Historian Bill Cooper's research in After the Flood provides intriguing dates from several ancient cultures. The first is that of the Anglo-Saxons, whose history has 5,200 years from creation to the Mashiach, according to the Loud and Parker Chronicles. Cooper's research also indicates that Nennius's record of the ancient British history has 5,208 years from creation to the Mashiach. The Irish chronology has a date of about 4000 BC for creation, which is surprisingly close to Ussher and Jones. Even the Mayans had a date for the flood of 3113 BC. This meticulous work of many historians should not be ignored. Their dates of only thousands of years are good support for the biblical date of about 6,000 years, but not for billions of years. You see, brothers and sisters, see table 4 right here. Take a look at the screen. You will see table 4. Table 4, selected days of the earth. Selected days of the age of the earth by various cultures, brothers. So we're looking at the cultures and how they calculate their dates. You see, culture Spain by Alfonso X, his age BC 6984. Authority listed by Haley Ziga-Muller. Spain by Alfonso again, right, 6484. Right, Strauss. Strauss. India 6204. Sintel, India 6174. Arab Records. Babylon, Iran, Iraq 6158. Bailey. Chinese 6157. Bailey. Greece by Diogenes Laertius, right, 6138. Playfair. So the authority listed by Haley. These are the lists Haley's has the authority or authority listed. You see, Egypt, Misraim 6081. Bailey. Persia 5507, Bailey, Israel, Judea, by Ephesus, Josephus 5555, Playfair, Israel, Judea, by Ephesus 5481, Jackson, Israel, Judea, by Ephesus 5402, Haley, Israel, Judea, by Joseph 4000, Ephesus 4069, A University History, India, 5369, Megasthenes, Babylon Talmud, from the Babylon Talmud 5344, Petros, Aliasins, and Vatican Catholic using the Septuagint 5270, not applicable for the authority listed by Haley's. Samaria 400427, Scaliger. German Holy Roman Empire by Johannes Kepler 3993, Playfield. German Reformer by Martin Luther 3961, not applicable. Brothers and sisters. Israel, Judea by Computation 3760, Strauchius. Israel, Judea by Rabbi Lippmann 3616, University History, you see. Right, Luther, Kepler, Lippmann, and the Jewish computation likely use biblical texts to determine dates. You see, brothers and sisters. The origin of the Earth worldview. Prior to the 1700s, few believe in an old Earth. The approximate 6,000 years age for the Earth was challenged only rather recently, beginning in the late 18th century, brothers and sisters. So the whole, the ancient world had accurate calculation of the age, but it changed in the 18th centuries, brothers and sisters, when the wicked come about and try to change laws and times, naming the Shabbat. You know what I mean? Shabbat, the commandment, one of the commandments of Shabbat deals with time, and that's the Shabbat every Saturday. Time, and you know what I mean? Just try to seek to change times and the laws. So the change Saturday, the Shabbat to Sunday. That's changing the times and laws. You see, brothers and sisters. That's what they do. They also prophesied in the Maccabees that they will go in and change the likeness and put themselves instead of the true people and pay their own likeness and claim the image and the identity of the true and living people, the people of the book, so-called Negroes. You see, brothers and sisters. These opponents of the biblical chronology essentially left Eliyahu out of the picture. Three of the old earth advocates include Clemente de Buffon, who thought the earth was at least 75,000 years old. Perry Laplace imagined an indefinite but very long history, and Jean Lamarck also proposed long ages. However, the idea of millions of years really took hold in genealogy when men like Abraham, Werner, James Hutton, William Smith, George Cuvier, and Charles Lyell used their interpretations of geology as the standard rather than the Bible. Werner estimated the age of the earth at about 1 million years. Smith and Cuvier believe untold ages were needed for the formation of rocks layers. Hutton said he could see no genealogical evidence of a beginning of the earth, and building on Hutton's thinking, Lyell advocated millions of years. You see, all these people that have their so-called education, that's what the Bible telling you. The wisdom of man is foolishness compared to the wisdom of Eliyahu. You see, so they come to the source. They rather go to their own understanding and lead the whole earth astray by their own wicked devices. Try to take the glory from the Most High. Try to take His work from the Most High. How can you do such a thing? Wouldn't that be stupidity, brothers and sisters? Huh? Wouldn't that be ludicrous, brothers and sisters? But why these people do this thing? Because they have a disdain for the Most High and His people. So they're doing everything to deceive the Most High's people. In their rabid mind, they try to convince themselves that they convince the Most High that they are the people now. I tell you, the stupidity of man. It's astonishing, brothers and sisters. Very astonishing, I tell you. Right? From these men and others came the consensus view that the geological layers were laid down slowly over long periods of time based on the rates at which we see them accumulating today unsaid. Right? The passage of our globe must be explained by what can be seen to be happening now. No power are to be employed that are not natural to the globe. No action to be admitted except those of which we know the principle. This view is called naturalistic uniformitarianism. You know, that's a mouthful right there, right, brothers and sisters? And it excludes any major catastrophes such as Noah's flood, though some such as Corvair and Smith believe in multiple catastrophes separated by a long period of time. The uniformitarian concept became the ruling dogma in geology. Thinking biblically, we can see that the globe flood in Genesis 6 and 8 would wipe away the concept of millions of years. Bingo. Bingo, brothers and sisters, huh? And if you take a look at the screen, brothers and sisters, you're going to see a cartoon illustration. You know what I mean? It just, it just sums up everything. Let's say a picture says 1,000 words, right? Look at this cartoon imagery, right? You have the rock layers, and then the guy on the left. You see on the table, he has God's word, Eliyahu's words is truth, right? And then you got the mad scientist on the right, man's decades of truth, right? Sums it up, right? The wisdom of man versus the wisdom of Eliyahu. Who do you think is going to win, brothers and sisters? Thinking biblically, we can see that the globe flood is in Genesis 6 and 8 would wipe away the concept of millions of years, for this flood would explain massive amount of fossil layers. Most believers fail to realize that the global flood would rip up many of the previous rock layers and redeposit them elsewhere, destroying the previous fragile contents. This would destroy any evidence of alleged millions of years anyway, so the rock layers can theoretically represent the evidence of either millions of years or a global flood, but not both. Sadly, by about 1840, even most of the body had accepted the dogmatic claims of the secular genealogists and rejected the global flood and the biblical age of the earth. After Lyell in 1899, Lord Calvin Williams Thomas, you see this British title, I tell you about this title, Lord, Overseer, wicked people, brothers and sisters. The Most High give this earth over to the hands of the wicked for a time, in a period of time, but the time is ending, brothers and sisters. Don't you see? The Gentiles at war, and Israel, the son of Hebrew slave, are sleeping, because they refuse to prepare themselves to meet Eliyahu. So it's up to you. Either you meet Eliyahu in judgment or you meet him in righteousness, brothers. Either way, you're going to meet him. And yet many of you are not prepared to meet the everlasting and terrible and awesome King. You see, the thieves right now, they're fighting, both of them in Palestine, and again, those fake Jews, they're fighting over land that's not theirs. Both of them are European descendant, have no ties whatsoever, DNA and otherwise, to that section of the earth, Northeast Africa, surrounding areas. Again, time and time again, no one is speaking about the plight of the black Palestinians over there. You see, who saw some of them are still Hebrews over there too. You see, but that's a different, cup of tea. After Lyell in 1899, Lord Calvin William Thomas calculated the age of the Earth based on the cooling rate of the molten sphere at a maximum of about 20 to 40 million years. You see this foolish, absurd calculation in years, brothers and sisters. This was revised from his earlier calculation of 100 million years in 1862. So it tells you, if common sense would tell you, brothers and sisters, from the time of the Most High created Adam to now, we've been advancing little by little. But if we supposed to be in this million-year mark, why is it that we still have poverty? Why is it that even within the 1,000 years of creation, why we still have these things? You see what I mean? Why we still having wars? Why we still having all these things, brothers? Why still these wicked people continue to do what they do? They claim they go to the moon. But you need to ask the question, if the Most High said in his word, he created two great lights to rule the day and rule the night, how is it that you can land on light, brothers? I would like to know. I would like to know, brothers and sisters. They claim we are on a spinning ball, spinning up 90 million or whatever miles they say. Yet still, when you walk on the earth, you're not moving. When you look up in the sky, you see the sun and the moon at the same time. How is that possible on a globe, brothers and sisters? The only time the earth moves literally is when the Most High shake it with the earthquake. You literally feel the earth underneath your foot moving. You feel the whole structure around you moving. That's the only time when the Most High moves the earth. Other than that, the earth is stable and cannot be moved, brothers and sisters. We live in a closed ecosystem. Nothing can come in, nothing can come out. There's layers of heavens, and I go over that already with you. There's layers of heavens. You see. When the development of radiometric dating, right, in the early 20th century, the age of the earth expanded radically. In 1913, Arthur Holmes' book, The Age of the Earth, gave an age of 1.6 billion years. Since then, the supposed age of the earth has expanded to its present estimate of about 4.5 billion years and about 14 billion years for the universe. As if they can separate the universe from the earth. It's one organism, living organism, brothers and sisters. One living organism. Everything is one, working one, in unison with one. If 1 inch or second or minute or hour is taken from time, everything is out of place. Every single thing is out of place, brothers and sisters. If 1 inch or 1 millisecond of anything that has to do with earth is being off, everything is destroyed. Everything run on a time, brothers. It's a perfect time of the Most High. You see, brothers and sisters, so take a look at the screen. Here's table 5. Right, table 5, summary of the old earth, proponents for long age. In table 5, brothers, you're going to have who, the age of the earth, when was this? So commented the buffoon, right? That's who, and his age of the earth 78,000 years old. And that's in 1779. You have Abraham Werner. His age is at 1 million years. That's in 1786. You have James Hutton, perhaps eternal long ages, 1795. He doesn't even have a date or a time for this. He just put out whatever, long age, right? Perry Laplace, long ages, again another long age dude, 1796. You got Jean Lamarck, long age again, 1809. You got William Smith, long ages, 1835. And you have George Cuvier, long ages, 1812. So you see all these long aging people putting out absurdity and absurd years of earth. You see what I mean? They themselves don't even know, but they just putting out things because they got the title, right? Right. Charles Lyell, millions of years, 1830 to 1833. You got Calvin, 20 to 100 million years, 1862, 1899. Lord Calvin, right, brothers and sisters? Arthur Holmes, 1.6 billion years, 1913, and Claire Patterson, 4.5 billion, 1956. But there is growing scientific evidence that Radiometric dating methods are completely unreliable. Believers who have felt compelled to accept the millions of years as fact and try to fit them into biblical need to become aware of this evidence. It confirms that the Bible history is giving us the true age of creation. Today, secular geologists will allow some catastrophic events into their thinking as an explanation for what they see in the rocks, but on uniformitarian thinking is still widespread, and secular genealogists will seemingly never entertain the idea of the global catastrophic flood of Noah's day. The age of the earth debate ultimately comes down to this fundamental question: are we trusting man's imperfect and changing ideas and assumptions about the past, or are we trusting Eliyahu's perfectly accurate eyewitness account of the past, including the creation of the world, Noah's global flood, and the age of the earth? Brothers and sisters, I don't know about you, but I stand with the Most High Yahweh every single time, because the scripture had said, yeah, let Yahuwah be true and every single man a liar, brothers and sisters. So there you have it. Other uniformitarian methods for dating of the age of the earth. Radiometric dating was the culminating factor that led to the belief in billions of years for the earth history. However, radiometric dating methods are not the only uniformitarian method. Any radiometric dating model or other uniformitarian dating method can and does have problems. As referenced before, all uniformitarian dating methods require assumptions of extrapolating present day processes back into the past. The assumptions related to radiometric dating can be seen in these questions, brothers and sisters, right? Initial amounts: was any parent amount added? Was any daughter amount added? Was any parent amount removed? Was any daughter amount removed? Has the rate of decay changed? If the assumptions are truly accurate, then uniformitarian dates should agree with the radiometric dating across the board for the same event. However, radiometric dates often disagree with one another and with dates obtained from other uniformitarian dating methods for the age of the earth, such as the influx of salt into the ocean, the rate of decay of the earth's magnetic field, and the growth rate of human population. The late Dr. Henry Morris compiled a list of 68 uniformitarian estimates for the age of the earth by believers and secular sources. The current accepted age of the earth is about 4.54 billion years based on radiometric dating of a group of meteorites. So keep this in mind when viewing table 6. Take a look at the screen. You will see table 6 right now, brothers and sisters. Okay, here in table 6, you will see the uniformitarian estimate other than radiometric dating estimates for Earth age compiled by Morris, right? So number of the uniformitarian methods, right? You got 0, negative 10,000 years. And then you got the greater than 10,000 years, 100 years. You got greater 100 years. 1 million years. You got greater 1 million to 5 million years. You have greater 5 million to 4 billion years. You see the foolishness, boss, is a greater 4 billion to 5 billion years. You see the range of the madness. When a range of ages is given, the maximum age was used to be generous to the evolutionists. In one case, the date was uncertain, so it was not used in this tally. So the total estimate used were 67. A few on the list had reference to Saturn, the Sun, etc. But since biblically the Earth is older than these dates, related to them were used. As you can see from the table 6, uniformitarian maximum ages of the Earth obtained from the other methods are nowhere near the 4.5 billion years estimated by the radiometric dating. Of the other methods, only 2 calculated days were as much as 500 million years. The result from some radiometric dating methods completely undermine those from the other radiometric methods. One such example is carbon negative 14. Dating as long as an organism is alive, it takes in 14C and 12C from the atmosphere. However, when it dies, the carbon intake stops. You see, brothers and sisters. Since 14C is radioactive, decays into 14N. Okay, brothers and sisters, so let's go over this again, this result again. The results from some radiometric dating methods completely undermine those from the other radiometric methods. One such example is carbon 14, right? So 14C is the C in the 14 is carbon dating, not Celsius, carbon, right? The C, because sometimes too, we gotta be careful too, brothers and sisters, because sometimes too the C is, depends on how it's right. With a 14 with a little 0 and a small c, that's Celsius. When you see 14 with a big C in parentheses, they're dealing with carbon dating and carbon aging, right? So 14C would be 14 carbon. Dating as long as an organism is alive. So it's had to deal with, like, testing earth and fossils and stuff like that, right? So the carbon 14C is a radioactive isotope of carbon that is used in radiocarbon dating, a scientific method that can estimate the age of organic materials up to 60,000 years. Carbon negative 14 is created when cosmic rays cause excess neutrons to react with nitrogen, and the carbon negative 14 isotope then decays. The half-life of carbon minus 14 is 5,700 years, so the amount of carbon negative 14 left in remains can indicate the age of the organism. You see, the radiocarbon dating is often used by archaeologists to date artifacts from archaeological sites and by genealogists for stratigraphy, brothers and sisters. You see. Right? So as long as an organism is alive, it takes in 14 carbon and 12 carbon from the atmosphere. However, when it dies, the carbon intake stops. Since 14 carbon is radioactive, radioactive decays into 14. So 14N, brothers and sisters, is the end in the 14 with the parentheses is nitrogen. The N signify nitrogen, so 14 nitrogen. So nitrogen minus 14 negative 14 is an isotope of the nitrogen that decays from carbon minus 14 through beta decay. Carbon minus 14 is radioactive and it has a half-life of about 5,730 years, meaning that after 5,730 years, half of the original amount of carbon minus 14 will have decayed into nitrogen minus 14, brothers and sisters. So I'm giving you the breakdown of what the C and the N means in these archaeological and radioactive results and data information. You see, brothers and sisters. So the amount of 14C in a dead organism gets less and less over time. Carbon minus 14 days are determined from the measured ratio of radioactive, or measure ratio of radioactive carbon minus 14 to normal carbon minus 12, 14C, 14C, 12C, used on samples that were once alive, such as wood or bone. The measured 14C, 14 carbon, dash or minus or slash 12C, 12 carbon ratio is compared with the ratio in living things today. Now, 14 carbon has a derived half-life of 5,730 that we just talked about earlier years. So the 14C in organic material, supposedly 100,000 years old, should all essentially have decayed into nitrogen. Some things such as wood trapped in lava flows said to be millions of years old by other radiometric dating methods still have 14C in them. If the items were really millions of years old, then they should not have any trace of 14 carbon, coal, and diamonds, which are found in or sandwiched between rock layers, allegedly millions of years old, right, have been shown to have 14 carbon ages of only 10 of thousands of years. So which date, if any, is correct? The diamonds or coal can't be millions of years old if they have any traces of 14 carbon still in them. This shows that these dating methods are completely unreliable and indicates that the presumed assumptions in the methods are erroneous, brothers and sisters. Similarly, kinds of problems are seen in the case of potassium argon dating, which has been considered one of the most reliable methods. Dr. Andrew Snelling, a genealogist, points out several of these problems with potassium argon as seen in Table 7. Right? These and other examples raise a critical question. If radiometric dating fails to give the accurate date on something of which we do know the true age, then how can it be trusted to give us the correct age for rocks that had no human observers to record when they form? If the methods don't work on rocks of known age, it is most reasonable to trust that they work on rocks of unknown age. It is far more rational to trust the word of Eliyahu, who created the world, knows his history perfectly. Hallelujah. You see, hallelujah. And his reveals sufficient information in the Bible for us to understand that the history and the age of creation. Take a look at the screen, you will see Table 7, brothers and sisters. As you can see in Table 7, potassium argon are days in error. Then they got the volcanic eruption, Mount Etna, the basalt Sicily, that's in Italy. When the rock formed, 122 BC. So date by Kia radiometric dating, they got 170,000 to 330,000 years old. Then they got again Mount Etna, basalt Sicily. AD 1972, you got 210 to 490,000 years. You got Mount St. Helens, Washington, AD 1986, up to 2.8 million years old. Then they got Hahulali, basalt, Hawaii, AD 1800 to 01, 1.32 to 1.7 million years old. Mauna Kea, New Zealand, AD 1954 up to 3.5 million years. And they got Kilauea, Ike Basalt, Hawaii. Yeah. They got 1959 AD. They got 1.7 to 15.3 million years old, brothers and sisters. So we hear the conclusion. No matter how old is the earth, when we start our thinking with Eliyahu's word, we see that the world is about 6,000 years old and counting. When we rely on man's fable and often demonstrably false dating methods, brothers and sisters, right? It is demonstrably false dating methods. We can get a confusing range of age from a few thousand to a billion of years, though the vast majority of methods do not give date even close to billions. Cultures around the world give an age of the earth that confirms that the Bible teachings. Radiometric dates, on the other hand, have been shown to be widely in error. Let me repeat. Cultures around the world give an age of the earth that confirms what the Bible teaches. Radiometric dates, on the other hand, have been shown to be wildly in error. Let me repeat. Cultures around the world give an age of the earth that confirms what the Bible teaches. Radiometric dates, on the other hand, have been shown to be wildly in error. The age of the earth ultimately comes down to a matter of trust. It's a worldview issue. Will you trust what an all-knowing Eliyahu says on the subject, or will you trust imperfect man's assumptions and imaginations about past that regularly are changing? I will put my trust in the Most High Yahuwah, in Yahusha's name, for the scripture said, let Yahuwah be true and every single man a liar. Cursed is the man that put their trust in another man. I say again, cursed is the man that put their trust in another man. I say again, cursed is the man that put their trust in another man, brothers and sisters. Don't put your trust in man, because man's feelings are fleeting. And again, when I talk about man, I'm talking about man and woman, mankind. You see, because man is a foundation, man is a root, man is a seed. Man was created first. The original Adomi, the black man, the ruddy man. You see. So in conclusion, brothers and sisters, I'm leave a scripture. Take a look at the screen. Right, it's coming from Isaiah 66, calling 1 to 2. Thus said Yahuwah, heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that you will build? You see, I tell you, the most I have a way of asking you questions, man. I be asking you questions, make you really think, man. I'm like, wow. You see, thus said Yahuwah, heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that you will build me? Where? Where, brothers and sisters? And where is the place of my rest, brothers and sisters? My father's asking you these questions. I'm going to go over the question again so you really think about it. Thus said Yahuwah, heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. So it goes hand in hand with the scripture where he said in another place, another time in the Bible, where he says, if I'm hungry, I would not come to you, I would not ask you for nothing, because the earth is mine. Brothers and sisters? Thus said Yahuwah, heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that you will build me? And where is the place of my rest? For all these things my hand has made, brothers and sisters. And all these things exist, said Yahuwah. But on this one will I look, on him who is poor and of contrite spirit, and who trembles at my word. So you see that? But on this one will I look, on him who is poor. So this one is the one that the Most High will look on, the poor and the contrite spirit, and who trembles. So trembling means the fear. Who trembles at my word. The fear doesn't mean words of the Most High make you quake in your heart. The believers. But even for the wicked, because the wicked know who the Most High is now, but they, you know what I mean, they continue the same way, because that's the spirit of the Most High put over the wicked, because they refuse to come back to the truth and the knowledge of who Yahuwah is, and the saving name of Yahusha and his people, his key, the sheep of his pastors, brothers and sisters. So I hope you understand. Hope it's not too difficult. You know what I mean? It's not too difficult for you to understand the age of the earth, brothers and sisters. I outline and break this down for you. So when they come to you, I tell you the earth is 1 billion or trillions years old, just dismiss them as not jobs and come to the Most High. The earth is over 6,000 years and counting. You see. So on that note, brothers and sisters, listen to his music. Like, share, subscribe. It's free. Support the music, brothers and sisters. Broke Yahuwah is ever hope. Broke Yahushua Mashiach. Shina, Vishina, blessed love and shalom.
Yo, what's going on?
I don't know.
We are dying.
Why?
We are going to waste.
Come
What
on,
is
man.
a disgrace? Come now, stop this and take your place.
That's royalty.
Mama, use her dying, and they can't find no food to eat, and they can't find no food to eat. I feel wickedness up on the street. If it's a shame why things are falling like this, the human to come back and yes, them now miss. I'm here for the paper, pay tricks. Illegal rights and justice, we have to sing up on this. I love my Africa, say man a joy. I want to open the eyes and realize the consequence one day. Then you better look at healing, bless us Christ. The only truth, say we better say I and I. I want to know the rest of our village heart. Open up the murder, I'll regret it on the heart. Love and unity in demand. When John Paul out, the love that one the land. Retribution is the plan. Give thanks to blessing for the conquering lion. Get the youth, put down the damn and gun. Take up the Babylon, burn them road. Life is better than we want to look in love. Life is better than we want to look in. Get the youth are dying. And they can't find no food to eat. And they can't find no food to eat. I feel wickedness up on the street. If now, no love, we say no unity. Why we can't just in the harmony? Say you go find the Almighty. The wicked never try plan against me. But I want me just know the Trinity. Watch out the man, the evil mystery. I want to tell you this, that's why it's the key. Uncle and friend and receive what I read. Young youth, just listen to me speech. Come on to the young about that we know dead need. Change the ways, righteousness will repeat. This is not coming about them no can be. The land of that is the very last sea. Be careful what you see, mama, you start dying. And they can't find no food to eat. And they can't find no food to eat. I feel wickedness up on the street. If now you want to down, you want to down, but there is now me. I feel falling on the high society. The destination is LIC. I never seen a good God they have with me. Look around them all, God no more. But I will tell you that the judgment is sure. Change your thought of the my capacity. I could be telling that this love is for me. Because we're lying up Judah I see. The Almighty has no Jesus for me. He's the one that's been love for me. All I know that love will receive. This not a joke, they better believe it is a must. Look around and pray, God, it's a must. Look around and pray, God, it's a must. No leader, no sign. We get stuck in that one, and the news are dying. And they can't find no food to eat. Yeah.